A dispute that seems to be about a few dollars is, in reality, a silent battle of interests between four powerful players. This isn't a simple question of who pays a fee. This is a modern business interrogation about fairness, transparency, and who gets left holding the bill. Hello, everyone. Today, let's talk about a surreal phenomenon of modern life, a bizarre experience guaranteed to send the blood pressure of any returning business traveler into the stratosphere: the ride-hail parking fee at the airport. The story usually begins like this. You, having just survived a brutal gauntlet run between your boss and your client, are physically and mentally exhausted. You're dragging a suitcase that feels heavier than your soul. The moment you step out of the arrivals gate, you feel like you've just completed an extreme endurance challenge. You want to scream at the sky, "I'm finally free." You expertly pull out your phone, open that familiar app, and book a ride. Finally, you think you can collapse into the back seat and enjoy a few moments of peace, even if it's just for the short journey from the airport to your home. The ride is confirmed, the driver is on their way, and everything seems to be going smoothly. You follow the app's directions, navigating through the bustling crowds of people who look just as tired as you, searching for the mythical ride-hail pickup point. Sometimes it's in a forgotten corner of a parking garage, requiring a journey of escalators and elevators that feels like an urban triathlon. Sometimes it's so far away, you start to wonder if this is an airport or the finish line of a fitness test. But it doesn't matter. You endure it all just to get home sooner. You find the car, the driver cheerfully loads your luggage, and you sink into the seat with a long, deep sigh. The world finally goes quiet. It's beautifully, surreally peaceful. And then, just as the car is pulling out of the parking garage, just as you're about to put on your headphones and disconnect from the world, the driver casually says, "Hey buddy, you'll have to cover the parking fee at the exit gate." In that single moment, you are more awake than if your boss had just called a 7 a.m. meeting. The sleepiness vanishes faster than Usain Bolt. A giant question mark forms in your mind. What? A parking fee? I have to pay a parking fee for a ride I hailed? I didn't ask you to wait for an hour. From the moment I booked the ride to the moment I got in the car was less than time than it takes me to make a bowl of instant noodles. How could there possibly be a parking fee? You feel a deep sense of injustice. You go on social media to complain, only to find that you are not alone. Millions of you have experienced the same surreal moment at different airports. A 10-won fee in Shanghai, a 5-won fee in Xi'an. The amount is small, but the insult is immense. And it all boils down to one question. Who is responsible for this phantom airport construction fee that seems to appear out of thin air? To unravel this mystery, we need to understand the four players in this silent game. Player 1, the airport, the house. A major airport is not just a transport hub, it's a miniature commercial empire. Every square inch is monetized. The parking lot is a massive and continuous source of cash flow. As the rule maker, the airport is the house in this casino, and the house always wins. They provide the space, they set the fees, and they don't care who pays as long as someone pays. To manage the chaos of thousands of ride-hail vehicles, they've instituted clever rules like a second entry fee. In many airports, your first 20 minutes are free, but if a driver drops someone off, leaves, and then immediately gets a new ride request to re-enter, they get charged, even if it's just for 1 minute. From the airport's perspective, this is just good management. Our house, our rules. Player 2, the driver, the squeezed middle. The drivers are the ones who bear the immediate pressure. They are caught in a vice between the airport's rules and the platform's algorithm. Their margins are already razor thin after the platform takes its hefty commission. When they get a new ride request that requires them to re-enter the airport and pay that fee, they're faced with a dilemma. If they accept the ride, the fee could wipe out their entire profit on a short trip. If they reject it, the platform's algorithm might punish them, reducing their future ride requests. So what do? They try to pass the cost onto the final link in the chain, you, the passenger. Player 3, the passenger. Your sense of injustice is perfectly valid. As a consumer, you are paying for a service from point A to point B. You assume that the price calculated by the app includes all the necessary costs for the driver to complete that service. It's like going to a restaurant, ordering a steak, and then having the chef come out halfway through your meal to ask you to chip in for the gas used to cook it. It's absurd. You arrived on time, you didn't cause any delays, so why should you be responsible for a cost incurred because of the driver's operational patterns? This brings us to the seemingly invisible player in this game, the ride-hailing platform. The platform plays a very subtle role. It knows about the airport's parking rules. It knows the drivers incur these costs. So why doesn't it just build this cost into the fare? The answer is simple, because its primary goal is market share, and the most effective tool for that is a low price displayed on the screen. Explicitly adding an airport parking surcharge would make their fares look more expensive than the competitors' ones. So they choose a more clever or perhaps more devious strategy. They kick the can down the road, creating a gray area and letting the driver and the passenger negotiate or argue it out. The platform successfully transforms what is fundamentally a systemic cost problem that it should solve into an interpersonal conflict between two individuals. It removes itself from the center of the conflict and positions itself as a neutral referee who can step in later to resolve the dispute. It's the most cost-effective and efficient solution for the platform. So, is this a hopeless deadlock? Not at all. Some airports are already showing the way. Shenzhen's airport has set up dedicated channels where drivers can wait for up to 30 minutes for free, with any overtime fees being displayed directly in the app for the passenger to see and approve. The result? A 72% drop in related complaints. Transparency works. Ultimately, the platform needs to take responsibility. It can no longer play dumb. It must either build these predictable costs into its upfront pricing model or create a fair subsidy system for its drivers. And for us, the passengers, while we can sympathize with the driver's plight, that doesn't mean we should pay unreasonable fees. Every complaint we file, every time we stand our ground, is a small push that forces the system to become fairer and more transparent. So the next time you're in that situation, don't get angry at the driver. Calmly tell them that this is not your cost to bear, that you are just both cogs in an imperfect machine. Then open your phone and quietly click the Dispute Charge button, because sometimes making the world a better place just requires a few more people who are willing to make a fuss. A poet of our modern age might say of this moment, "At airport gates, a weary traveler's plea. This parking charge, why is it billed to me? The driver sighs, a victim of the game, while hidden platforms fan the growing flame. The house just counts the cash a steady stream, destroying a tired traveler's simple dream. But if we speak and challenge what's unfair, a clearer path will form from our despair." That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.